Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Not Too Comic Book. This being the show, we're talking about TV shows that are adaptations of comic books. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Inhumans. Another great episode with a lot of stuff that went down. Obviously, the entirety of everyone getting reunited. I mean, technically, they didn't get reunited all at once because they got reunited last episode, and they broke apart to each go do different things. Obviously, Karnak and Gorgon doing the whole, saving Sammy and Declan from Oron and all the Inhumans that were brought, like all the minor Inhumans that Maximus sent their way, which I'm going to break that whole situation down. I love the approach of that whole situation because, Karnak was like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this. Like, I'm not full in my full capabilities. And, Medusa's like, don't worry. Like, even at half your best, you're still, the best fighter. And then you have Gorgon be like, second best. But, he did a pretty smart thing. It was like, well, the fact of the matter is most people fear you because of what you are. Like, the fact is you fight with possibilities. It's like you're the famous Karnak, so it's like nothing's an accident. Everything you do is on purpose. Like, you always seeing 5-10 steps ahead of him. To the point, when he was walking out and then Oron had her gun pointed, it's like, no, I can't shoot him. He wants me to shoot him. And then hard cuts to Karnak being like, please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. And to the point she's actually scared. It's actually kind of interesting because that whole battle was kind of very psychological on many different fronts. Both her side of things and Mortis's. Her side, because the fact of the matter is, Declan warned her, hey, your healing ability, your regeneration isn't going to last forever. I mean, look at your arm. Her hand was still a little burnt from her regenerating from last episode. But the fact of the matter is, the fact is it hadn't fully recovered. It starts messing with her head. She's like, no, you're lying. It's like, no. I guess because I've never really heard of a healing factor giving out, but I guess because hers comes from an inhuman ability, and I guess, when you've used it enough over the years, and depending on how much damage it's recovering at a time, I guess eventually that takes its toll. I don't know, maybe it's because she's been using it a little too much frequently. Maybe it's because the last time she got attacked, it took a large amount to regenerate or whatever. The way Declan was talking about it is kind of like a DNA sequencing type of thing. It's like, oh, have you ever had your DNA examined? So I'm guessing it's regenerating she does slowly maybe unravels parts of her DNA to the point it slowly makes it impossible for those wounds to heal or something anymore. So that's why that said wound on her hand won't heal, because her DNA's got so scrambled there from all the regenerations that it's finally so worn out it can't be kind of snapped back in place or something like that. My understanding of it, I could be completely wrong about understanding it, but that was just kind of an interesting thing, to the point her and Gorgon were fighting, and even he had to be like, come on, because she was fighting back hard, sure, but probably not as hard as she normally would. And to the point he was like, surrender, and he was about to stomp her, and then she had her hand up, and then she looked at it, she's like, okay, I surrender, because he what Declan said, which I doubt it was a lie, it was most likely the truth. We do also see him kind of filling the in the blanks when Karnak explains, Maximus is Black Bolt's treacherous brother, and it's that's why he want me to kill Black Bolt and everything. Yeah, everything's starting to slowly piece together. I don't it's probably not going to be till next episode. It's either one of those situations where because of the circumstances of the episode, he didn't have a chance to explain. But I'm curious to see how Black Bolt reacts next week's episode, knowing that all this is also about Maximus trying to potentially not only kill you, but also take something from your DNA to be transferred into a means of making him an inhuman, which also finding out that the fact of the matter is he set everything in motion. He's the one that paid for everything Declan has and everything. So that like I said, that's still an aspect we've never really dived too deeply into, how he even got that. Might not even be something they'll ever explain, but nevertheless, it is kind of a sad situation, because Gorgon sadly does die. I didn't see that coming. I was because he ended up bringing the entire place down because of Mortis, because of the whole conversation Karnak had with him. It's oh yeah, ever since you came out of Terra Genesis, people have been afraid of you. You literally had the face of death. And the fact of the matter is he's been locked up for so long, which is in Mortis's perspective, it's that's messed up. Black Bolt is more dangerous than me. At least I have a way of dealing with my situation. If he utters a word, he kills somebody. Which there's, interestingly enough, there's that whole nightmare sequence, which I thought that was kind of interesting, that whole thing, because I saw it in the previews last week's episode, but it's no, it was just a dream he was having of his family returning and them coming to get revenge on him. And the fact of the matter is, it says like, oh, Black Bolt knows that you killed their parents. I'm like, wait, what? So what does that mean? Did he put Black Bolt in a position to accidentally kill the parents? Did he manipulate Black Bolt? Did he get pissed at him? Like, did he manipulate him into being in a position where he would use his power or something? Like, was that the point? Did he lie and get like Black Bolt's their parents like mad at Black Bolt to put them in? Like, what does that mean? But going back to it, like, this is the first time, not Maximus, Black Bolt has lost someone so close to him. It's like, this is family he just lost. And, he's like, Gorgon sacrificed himself because Mortis was going to take everybody down, because it's like, I'm not about to get locked up again. And so he he stomped his leg and brought the whole building down on himself, killing himself. Because, and that's just who Gorgon was. He would do anything for his family and protect the people that are important to, even saving the other people that they captured. Because it's like, because they could have easily just killed those Inhumans, like Auron or the others that came, which I kind of feel bad for the miners and everything, because even Maximus himself is like, oh man, everyone loves me so much, they'll be willing to sacrifice themselves for me. Those particular miners, in that case, because let's not forget, like, Trayvon had brought it up before, like, yeah, there are actually very few people that actually want to willingly sign up, because of the whole conversation of, is this for Adelan's future, or is this actually just 100% for Maximus' sake? So that conversation came. So I'm actually surprised it ended up being like 5 or 6 people who were like, oh, we gladly take this position. Granted, they're minors. And an interesting thing too is, like, the moment they got there, the other Inhuman, I think her name's Flora, and Auron were just like, shut up and follow us. Obviously, this ain't no touring spot. It's like, oh, all the blue, yeah, blah, 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 blah. The grass is great, and come on, follow me. And then the other one's like, one of them, like, I think Flora bumped into one. She's like, watch it. It's like, oh my God, almost like, oh, these disgusting miners. It's like, even though you're trying to fight for Maximus, quote unquote, like, equal society, you're still treating them like below you because they're minors and stuff like that. So that should be a key sign there, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm curious to see what they have to say when it's all said and done. Like, what Maximus really wanted out of this whole situation. Like, when she ultimately finds out, like, Maximus wanted Black Bolt alive now because it meant him getting powers, like, how would Auron feel about that, How would everyone feel, knowing that it's just been manipulated this entire time, that Maximus does ultimately just want power for himself? That's actually a question that kind of came up in this episode too, about the whole Maximus situation, because you have Black Bolt being like, yeah, let's kill him, which Medusa kept translating as like, we'll deal with him, and Black Bolt's looking at her like, no, that's not what I said, we will kill him. But it's like, because she doesn't want Black Bolt to do that. And he's like, why? After everything, because he hurt you specifically. That's what, not just everything he's done, but the fact of the matter is that he hurt her specifically is why he did. And she's like, yeah, I want him hurt too. But the fact of the matter is like, you made a promise to me that you weren't going to be like all the other leaders, like even your parents before you, that you would be kind, that you wouldn't be so quick to essentially do something as just like barbaric as just outright killing him. It's like, follow, like, the laws. Like, if he needs to be judged by others for his action, it's not his right to kind of take it all upon himself. Because the whole point is for him to be a king that they deserve and everything. And it's like, the right move would be not to let this become such a personal matter, that this is a matter that, yes, he wronged you and your family, sure, but it's a situation of like, almost like you got to handle it with a little diplomacy too. At the same time too, no matter what he's done, that's still your brother. And like, would you necessarily feel like, would you even be able to live with yourself? It's not something that got brought up, but would he be able to live with himself after killing Maximus, no matter what the circumstances are? That, his parents' death is kind of on his hands, and I'm sure he lives with that every day. It's an extra reminder of never to speak a word, so kind of the same thing, But once again, after everything that's going down, it's like, where will Black Bolt stand on this? After this, where will Medusa stand on this very subject too? Kind of something a little more, obviously, a little bit more lighthearted in this episode was the whole Crystal and, it's interesting because I called her Abby last episode, but her name's Audrey, and I call him Daniel, but his name's Dave. I think the reason why I called her Audrey Abby was because the actress, her character's name was Abby on, Santa Clarita Diet. I think that was our character's name. But nevertheless, as I kind of thought, things kind of got a little tense between her and Crystal because she's like, oh, the fact of the matter is, like, kind of like, let your dog rest or whatever, but it's like, no, I kind of know what's best or whatever, blah, 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 going back and forth. And then she's like, oh, shouldn't you be on some kind of registry? And Crystal's like, wait, what? What are you talking about? You know, the whole Inhuman registry. And he's about to take a photo of her, and so Crystal burned her phone. Which I love when it's all said and done, she ended up, like, coming back with police and everything. And then, like, Dave's like, what the hell did you do? She's like, you've been so caught up in all of this, they could be dangerous or whatever. It's like, you know what you look like? The sad thing is you look like a crazy, obsessed ex. That you're kind of upset because he's been spending so much time with an alien lady, which at the same time is like, I get it. On one side of things, it's like, you're like, I kind of get it. Like, you're just like super protective of someone that you care about. It hasn't been that long since you broke up. I mean, I guess it kind of says a lot because like he's kind of moving on because him and Crystal made out. But I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. And I love that they twist it. And it's like, oh yeah, the others are going, and they're just like, yep, she's here. It's just nobody here but me and my girlfriend, Louise. She's just mad because I got a new girl in my life. It's kind of sad. And it's just like, she's like, no, there was a giant dog in there. It was massive. I just love that little cover up and everything. That's gotta super suck. I mean, it sucks on multiple levels because one, Luis wanted to go with them because she's like, oh my God, like we go to the moon, you know, Black Bolt was kind of signing for Medusa, and Medusa was like, yeah, I know, I'll talk to her. It's like, no matter what the situation, if that things hadn't turned the way they did, she still wouldn't have been able to come anyway. Cause it's like, this whole purpose is about getting everyone back together and going home, which kind of sucks because of the whole Crystal and, Dave situation and them making out, and, it kind of plays into something that, you know, Louise had brought up herself. She's like, oh yeah, why did you guys hide yourselves on the moon, on the like other side of the moon? It's like, well, because of humans. It's like, we were here once upon a time, but we feared humans because you know how they act when they fear things. You see that you know, it's not like they're 100% wrong because you do see present day situation about how Inhumans are treated. So, you know, but it does turn into that situation. Well, not all humans are bad. You know, just like not all people on, you know, in Adelan should be reflected by who Maximus is, you know, so. And the fact of the matter is they've met awesome people who've, you know, proven that. They've met, Karnak met Jin, Gorgon met all those, like, fighters he met, and then Crystal met Dave, and obviously Medusa met Luis, so. Like I said, it seems like this whole situation is supposed to be more, like I said, kind of a learning experience. And now they go back knowing, like, humans aren't as bad as we kind of thought they were. Like, yes, they have their issues, but it's not like every other society's perfect. It's not like even their society's perfect. Especially in this episode where it's just kind of have, like, Maximus's paranoia kind of getting to him. Well, I mean, it's not paranoia when you're right. I mean, just because you're paranoid about someone gunning for you doesn't mean that they're not actually gunning for you. Because in this particular case, he's getting all these, Trebord is kind of like, kind of catching him off guard a little bit. Like, oh, I've heard these rumors about there, you know, people amongst ranks who don't follow you and stuff like that, who like trying to, you know, reclaim the throne for Black Bolt or stuff like that. Rebels, essentially. So he uses Renage as a means of trying to figure out, like, where does everyone's loyalty lie, in particular Treborn's, but, you know, it seems like Renage lied, but it seems like that was more so, like, out of just fear because he heard what Maximus had said, you know, about like, oh yeah, people willing to sacrifice themselves. And it's like, I guess he figured if things kind of turned one way, then maybe he could make sure that his dad came back okay. You know, it's like, because, you know, if need be, like Maximus will sacrifice as many people as he needs to for his goal of like, oh, I'm doing this for everyone. When actually he's doing it for himself. He's like, tell me, what was it he was telling Renage to tell him at the end of the episode? He's just like, tell me that I'm a good king or something like that. He almost has tear look in his eyes because it's like he wants validation that much. I mean, spending as much time as he has as being human amongst inhumans, kind of treated as kind of a grunt, as a low nothing. Even though he's the only reason why he's in any position at all is because he's part of the royal family. So it's kind of something interesting too that I thought was going to play a little bit more of a role in the episode. Well, I guess it kind of does because like we saw some training from Gorgon to Maximus about like how the fact of the matter is at some point you're going to have to fight your own battles. If I'm not there or your royal guards, when you're the last one standing, you got to learn how to defend yourself. You got to be smarter and more cunning, which is weird to hear that coming specifically from Gorgon. That seems like that should have been something that came from Karnak, but still. I guess it's easy to kind of say and not do, you know, because it's not like, you know, Gorgon's was all about, you know. being a little cunning, so. But I guess ultimately in the end, it did help out, like knowing, like being a little cunning, because I guess to him, he was able to see through Trebor's deceit and deception, and ended up slitting his throat in front of those other people before taking them away. So I am ultimately curious to see what the next episode has in store for us, because now this puts Maximus in a position where it's like he literally has no one he can trust, because even Renage kind of lied to him. It's like, you didn't tell me everything that you saw just because you were scared, and now the one person I thought I could trust isn't there anymore. So now it's like everything's falling apart, but he's trying so hard to grasp onto it. So like I said, with that and everything that's going on now that Gorgon's gone, and you can tell Black Bolt is enraged, I'm curious to see what the next episode has in store for us. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.